Hello everybody. I want to talk about why a college degree is so important today. Success today often arises from two things: doing things or making things by yourself, or making yourself as valuable as possible to your employer. The latter part often requires having a college degree. Today, more of us are obtaining college degrees than ever. Those 25 or older with 4 or more years of college rose from 2.7% in 1910 to over 30% today. Why? The market simply demands it. According to the Hudson Institute, as many as 55% of all jobs today require at least some education, some college education, that is. And those with a bachelor's degree earn a whopping $2 for every $1 a person without a degree earns. As valuable as education is, it's not an ironclad predictor of success. Bill Gates never finished college. Albert Einstein could not read until he was 7. Beethoven's music teacher said he was hopeless as a composer. Winston Churchill failed the 6th grade, and Socrates just walked round and round. Freud kept changing his mind. Mark Twain did not know whether he wanted to be a steamboat pilot, a bum, a writer, or a businessman. Here's an interesting story. Back in 1854, a boy was withdrawn from school in Port Huron, Michigan, for causing trouble. He'd been there for only 3 months. That was to be the only formal education of his life. He later worked as a lab assistant. The job ended when he blew up the laboratory. His employer picked him up and threw him out into the dust, saying he wouldn't amount to anything. But he had a plan, and he wasn't going to let a little problem or two stop him. He wanted to learn the mechanical applications of natural laws. He eventually became the foremost inventor in American history, with over 1,300 domestic and foreign patents registered in his name. A name synonymous with problem-solving genius. He was, of course, Thomas Edison. Today, though, the degree increasingly seems to suggest to those who are recruiting that the individual who possesses one has more perseverance and endurance, more patience, ambition, intelligence, drive, and motivation than one who has quit their studies. Whether those perceptions are valid or not is a moot point. The facts are that the college degree today is being used more and more as a screening device to provide those with opportunities that are becoming increasingly difficult to obtain any other way. Here is an interesting statistic. A recent study indicates those who have the least years of total education, the lowest 10% of the population in years of schooling, have only a 3.5% chance of being in the top 20% of income. If you have the least number of years of schooling, you only have a 3% chance of being in the top 20% in terms of income. Let's talk about the other end of the spectrum. Those that are in the highest tenth of the population in education have a 46% chance of being in the top 20%. So if you're among those that have the highest number of years of education, you have a 46% chance of being in the top 20% of income. Among people with identical IQ test scores, those in the top 10% in schooling are 8 times more likely to be in the top 20% in income than those in the lowest tenth, even with IQs the same. Just as important, those in the lowest 10 in terms of socioeconomic family background, with the same average IQ as those with the highest 10% in socioeconomic background, will receive an average of 4.9 fewer years of schooling. In short, educational level largely determines your socioeconomic position, and one's family socioeconomic background determines one's educational opportunity. Of course, the higher earning of college graduates is not due to education alone, since college graduates are likely to come from relatively well-to-do families with all the attendant social and economic advantages. That said, however, we live in a country that, I am convinced, you can do and be anything you want. The opportunity to borrow money to go to school, the opportunity to sacrifice and work harder to gain more years of school, is open to everyone, if they so choose to take it. I wish you all the best.